Good afternoon. I'm Blair Campbell, the Head of Industry Development for the Fit Summit. It's a pleasure to be joined today by Galit, Horovitz, the co-founder of Welltech Ventures, renowned for her acumen in the fitness and wellness innovation, technology and platform and high growth business industry. She facilitates companies seeking to size, scale, grow and expand to become world leaders in excellence in the health, fitness and wellness industry. Let's dive in. Galit, in your mission to accelerate wellness startups and aid their expansion, it's a unique one. Can you share your journey so far in forming and growing Welltech Ventures?
So a few years back, when we first decided to establish Welltech Ventures, we saw a growing market and a business opportunity while promoting health and wellness values. In Israel, we were the first fund to focus on wellness startups, and our mission was to advance wellness in Israel, thus increasing the number of startups in the field. Due to our vast experience in the high-tech industry and our involvement in the wellness field, we're able to assist startups with their growth. We have created a growing wellness technology community. We have experts and mentors willing to invest their time in aiding the startups, and the founders are able to tap our network that includes many of the multinational companies, hospitals around the world, sports teams, other investors, and various experts in the field. Actually, 2.5 years later, we are witnessing a surge in wellness technology startups and many multinational companies investing their time and funds in the sector. We are seeing many new startups, along with many medical startups that have pivoted with a new product for the wellness industry. We have created a map of the entire wellness technology ecosystem in Israel, and the map includes over 500 startups in the field, and I really look forward to increasing that number.
Well, there's certainly a lot of current businesses that you're involved in. It sounds very exciting, and hopefully we can hear a little bit about more from each of those innovations and technologies in a little bit of time. We very much look forward to hearing about all of those new offerings on the marketplace. So moving on to our next question. Wellness has exploded in the global marketplace. Naturally, we can think of brands like Calm and Headspace. But what technologies and platforms have delivered the most return to date currently, and why from your perspective, Galit?
Sure. So COVID-19 has placed the global agenda on health and prevention, and it's likely to remain so in the vaccinated world. So according to PwC, Global Consumer Insights Survey in 2020, 69% of consumers say COVID-19 has made them more focused on managing their mental health and well-being. I think that this year we will see good returns on telehealth and home fitness. We have witnessed an increase in value in companies like Teladoc and BetterHelp, and of course the purchase of Mirror by Lululemon for $500 million. I expect we will see more deals of such magnitude, especially since global mobile users spend a total of 5.4 billion hours in health and fitness apps in 2020, which is amazing. Some of the success stories in the wellness industry are Peloton with a market cap of $3 billion, ClassPass, which reached unicorn status, Hims Hers, which revolutionized e-commerce of wellness products, and of course, food companies like Beyond Meat that revolutionized vegan foods.
It's great to hear about all those new brands you've mentioned and some of the new technologies that are out there. It's very intriguing going forward that a company like yours is out there to help grow, expand, and also make more relevant brands to the current industry and future consumers. Next, I'd just like to ask you, Galit, on your insights into what are the current wellness trends you see in the post-COVID world?
So first of all, I don't think that we're post-COVID yet, but we will be soon. So COVID shifted priorities and increased self-awareness and the need to boost the immune system. The global population developed a lifestyle of prevention, self-care, home fitness, and healthy nutrition. We have seen growth in mental health, remote care, and preventive medicine technologies with people, hospitals, and insurance companies that are needing to continue building cost-efficient home care and health solutions. I believe that remote care and telemedicine is set to retain a major role. The easing of government regulations of the FDA, of course, and the inclusion of telehealth in insurance companies like Medicare insurance program in the United States supports the growth of telehealth services. Another interesting field is corporate wellness with a market value that reached $48 billion. So more and more companies are finding that healthier employees are also happier and obviously more productive. A study by Harvard Business Review actually found that for every dollar invested in wellness, companies average a return of $2.71 by way of increased productivity and reduced healthcare costs. We're also witnessing a shift of many medical grade startups developing products for the wellness sector. So the border between what's wellness and what's medical is dissolving, and more doctors and health practitioners are accepting wellness products and apps as a preventive measure. So with over 45% of the US population having a chronic disease, insurance companies and doctors are looking to prevent an increase in the chronic disease. Another trend increased by the pandemic, and I think is here to stay with us, is the mental health. So the mental health market alone is valued at $121 billion, according to the Global Wellness Institute. One last trend is we're witnessing traditional industries adapting wellness technology. So for example, we've seen airlines that are integrating Headspace, the meditation and sleep app. And I think we'll see more and more of that.
Excellent. We really do appreciate your reflections on this. The trends are always ever evolving. Some are simply reinvented. It's key for all our leaders to best understand and utilize the current trends ahead to help to differentiate their own offerings in a way that makes their services, products, and offerings truly special. Now, Galit, if we look ahead with a crystal ball in mind, as an active investor in so many businesses, where would you place your bets on tomorrow's landscape?
So, it's always a challenge to predict the future. But as a fund, we're sector agnostic within the wellness field. However, I do predict that data-driven health solutions and telemedicine will surge, as well as home fitness, corporate wellness, and self-care. So I think COVID kind of boosted so many sectors within wellness, and I think we're just going to see that growth continue.
Great, very positive message and very candid as well. I'm sure that we would all like to predict the next big brand to launch into the space, but as you said, it's difficult to do, but it's a very exciting time ahead. The fifth question that I had for you today was pertaining to your own home country. Israel is recognized as one of the world's most active and influential technology innovation hubs. With Israel and many Israeli companies looking ahead to the future, what is going to help redefine tomorrow's wellness marketplace for them?
So I'm actually sure that Israel and Israeli startups will define the future of the wellness industry. Israel is an influential player in the worldwide technology ecosystem, as you said, and is known as the startup nation with the highest number of startups per capita and the highest number of unicorns per capita, which are privately held companies worth $1 billion and more. So we're a small country with a population of 9 million, with exceptional engineers and creative minds. Israeli companies and startups attracted $5 billion in investments in the first 3 months of 2021 alone, which represents an increase of 90% compared to the last quarter of 2020. In general, Israel is a world leader in healthy lifestyle, nutrition, vegan foods, fitness, and more. And putting that together with the outstanding minds of the Israeli entrepreneurs positions Israel as a leader of wellness innovation globally.
Thank you, Galit. There's no doubt about it. The whole world is still recovering, but your region certainly has recovered very well economically and vaccinated a great deal of the population currently for the pandemic. So with your current talent and innovation in the region, there's no doubt it's exciting to see how the future of Israel's impact on the world and the Middle East will contribute to the health, fitness and wellness industry of the future. I'd just like to ask a question which I think will be on the tips of the tongues of most of our audience. And that is, what advice would you give wellness business owners who seek investment in order to size, scale, and expand? What would be the do's, the don'ts, and the pitfalls that they need to avoid when trying to source the attention of investors such as yourself?
So actually, there are best practices in raising capital that pertain to all industries. However, when zooming in on the wellness industry, I would recommend to put emphasis on a few points. So one, make sure you and your potential investors see eye to eye on when to launch the product, if to wait to collect data and complete clinical trials if needed. If the founders are planning to conduct clinical trials, make sure the potential investor knows that. It's very costly, time consuming, and delays the go-to-market. Not all investors agree with this approach. I always recommend to have strategic investors that can help assist the startup in growth. It will also help to raise capital in the next round. Carefully think of the type of investor you're looking for. So if it's an angel or a VC, each has the pros and cons and depends on the startup stage. Specifically in the wellness industry, I have seen many wellness startups that raise capital for more medical-oriented VCs, and the VCs change the startup strategy and go to market to a more medical vertical. I've also seen the opposite, medical startups raising capital for more wellness-oriented VCs, and the startups are required to change their path. This can lead to many clashes between the startups and the investors, and I highly suggest aligning the strategy of the startup with the VC, just so that you won't have any surprises the day after you sign.
Very valuable advice. It's very vital for the business owners who are in our audience seeking to partner with investors in the future, that they are highly cognizant of what parameters, values, and USPs are most important. And your insights today will be highly informative. I'm sure those listening will really appreciate those unique observations and advice here. In closing, I'd just like to ask you, Galit, how important is it for companies to be part of business network in today's market, such as Welltech Ventures? How can they optimize their value from this?
So actually, a good and diverse network can always help. It can shorten time to market, and it can actually be the difference between success and failure. There's a lot of competition out there. If you have a network that can introduce you to potential investors and clients, it will propel your startup to growth. Being surrounded by like-minded people who are immersed in the tech ecosystem and can advise you on the next steps is priceless. Sometimes the right introduction is worth $1 million. So I would highly recommend being part of a community that can support you. If it's Welltech Ventures or any other wellness technology community in the world.
Thank you for that. I'd just like to put you on the spot now by asking you a small question about, in one sentence, could you possibly give a positive statement for our audience going forward on the future of our industry and how brands like you can help collaborate with them to inspire future growth?
So I think that wellness technology in general is in a good place. So what I mean is that right now with COVID, it kind of boosted the growth of wellness technology startups. But we saw that growth even before COVID. So I don't think, many are saying that maybe wellness technology won't grow as much now in 2021 and 2022. I believe that we'll continue to see that growth. In general, as investors, we are very active. Our approach is actually to invest in startups that we believe have a good market fit, exceptional founders, and strong IP, and that we believe that we can bring value to the startups. We assist with introductions to our network, introductions to other investors, introductions to multinational companies. We assist with the strategy. Really, we're there to support the startups.
Excellent, thank you. And from your own personal perspective, Galit, looking back over the last 12 months, is there one important lesson that's been forefront in your mind that maybe has recurred repeatedly throughout this last year as you've looked towards your team for motivation or inspiration that you perhaps like to share with the audience?
So I think that founders in general need to know to be flexible and to pivot. So when the Corona started, we had actually a few portfolio companies that didn't go to market yet, and they had to raise more capital in order to do so. But because the Corona started, at first, the first few months, it was difficult to raise additional capital. And they actually pivoted. They pivoted their product to fit, what was going on, to fit the pandemic era. And they went to market much faster. They were able to delay raising capital, or some, changed their strategy in terms of raising the capital. So maybe they raised at a lower valuation, they raised, a smaller amount of capital. But it's important to know to be flexible as investors as well. So there are many investors that changed their strategy. So we saw many investors who once invested in like fintech and cybersecurity looked at wellness technology because of the market, because of the increase in the need for wellness technology. We also saw a lot of health VCs that were only investing in health companies that, a product that's deep technology that needs an FDA approval, were suddenly investing in wellness technology. They saw the potential. So in general, I think for both sides, for the investors and for the founders, it's very important to be flexible and open-minded.
Wonderful, thank you. Now, you work with so many brands in the space, but if I had to put you under the spotlight a little bit, what might be a few of your landmarks or milestones of success over the last year with the brands you currently house? What's been really outstanding for you in terms of who you've worked with and why?
So actually startups in our wellness technology community, and especially our portfolio companies, have come a long way. We have invested in exceptional entrepreneurs. Some are serial entrepreneurs with ideas that can, revolutionize the way we go about our daily lives, with a mission to improve our health and prevent chronic disease. We are able, as I said before, to assist our startups in raising additional capital, begin clinical trials in renowned hospitals around the world, and establish relationships with companies that would have never recognized wellness as a possible sector. As investors in the sector, we are committed in helping our startups every step of the way. So one of our accomplishments as a first wellness-centric fund in Israel was educating the market on what is wellness. So 2 years ago, our frequently asked question was, what is wellness? We had to define in every meeting, we had to define what wellness is. I actually haven't received that question in months. In fact, I've seen many new investors in the health and wellness industry, along with many, multinational companies that are interested in the field.
Galit, if you could share with our audience, what's the best way to reach out to Welltech Ventures and you yourself for any contact for future?
So actually, you're welcome to reach us at our website, welltechventures.com, or via my email. It's Galit, Galit, @welltechventures.com. And we're always happy to speak to new startups and other investors. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you. And thank you very much for having me here today.
It's been an absolute pleasure to have you. We're honored, Galit. We've been very well educated from all your insights. From myself and the team at Fit Summit, we're very grateful for all your detailed knowledge on the investment landscape of our sector. Please do contact Welltech Ventures audience if you've got any business information you want to share with them, or seek their advice or help to become the next large global innovation. And if not, please do showcase your own organization or yourself online or in person at our future event in Bangkok in November. All the best from us at Fit Summit. Thank you, everyone. See you later.